want your love and all your love is revenge. You and me could write a bad romance. Oh, 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 oh.
Hi, my name's Amanda Easton. I'm a performer, singer-songwriter from Sydney, Australia. I make retro-inspired, theatrical, electronic pop. But when I'm not doing my own music, I do
cabaret,
cover band gigs, solo gigs, tribute shows, recording sessions. Welcome to my Circle of Life vlog.
And I'll be watching you from here.
Okay, so last week I was talking about criticism. Criticism was the theme for my songwriting challenge, but it's also something that as an artist, thanks Lisa, all good now, great. As an artist, and Lisa, you would probably know this too, although hopefully not, that we all have to deal with sometimes is criticism. And I spoke about one particular person who sent me an email and told me that I sang like a screeching cat, which is, you know, not necessarily the type of thing you want to hear about your singing. Then my little boy showed me this video that was trending and I thought it was very appropriate, so I'm going to show you now, and I really hope you can actually hear it and see it. It's the cutest thing. Look at that. Isn't that the cutest thing? Oh, that's called a caracal, apparently. It's a wild cat. And so I thought it was particularly appropriate. Listen to it, it's like a laser beam. Doesn't it sound like a laser beam? But it's so cute. Anyway, I thought that was appropriate since, you know, he called me a screeching cat. If I could sound like that, I don't know, I'd make a good living as a sci-fi actor, I think. But I thought it was appropriate to that little video because my record label is called Wild. I know, I'd like to sound that cute too. My record label is called Wildcat Records. And I don't know if you heard that story before, but when I was living in Japan, my Japanese friends said I looked a bit like a cat. I'll take that as a compliment. And so I got a little tattoo of a cat on my shoulder. I'll show you in summer. I'm a bit covered up now, but I named my record label after that. So I thought, there you go, I sound like a cat, and I'll just own that one. So I don't know about you, but I am totally in love with funny cat videos. I mean, they just make my day. And my friend Sydney, he sent me exactly, it sounds like a sci-fi movie. He sent me a gorgeous little, I said cat videos, but I'm actually in love with animal videos of all types. I am a particular cat lover, but it doesn't matter. If it's an animal, I love it. And Sydney sent me a gorgeous little video of a puppy playing in the snow. And it's amazing how something like that can really brighten up your day. So I thought I'm going to try and find a funny animal video every time I play live and hopefully brighten up your day as well. So what do you do when you're feeling a little bit down? I know music is a big upper for a lot of us, and that's a good thing. So yeah, when I'm, and my little boy's been sick lately, and what we always do, well, we did when he was a really little kid, we would play some kind of TV or video to distract him, because kids, you know, can be quite easily distracted out of their, you know, whatever they're feeling at the time. But I think it's the same as, you know, anybody. I think we can all be distracted by something fun like that. And I think funny cat videos would have to be at the top of my list. But as you might have known, if you've been following my page lately, I've been slaving over a hot keyboard doing some video editing. And one of my songs, Man Who Fell to Earth, it's on. Hi Grace, lovely to see you all the way from Japan. One of the songs on my Polaroids and Postcards, my existing EP. I'm writing a new record at the moment, so I have to not forget that I've still got one that's still there, and then the new one takes over. But there's a song called Man Who Fell to Earth. Now, I am a big fan of David Bowie. Even though I grew up with cheesy pop, which I still love, I had very cool cousins that introduced me to music like the Rolling Stones and David Bowie, which was very good for my, you know, musical knowledge, because I might have been stuck in that top 40 pop. Hey, Ralph from Scotland, good to see you. And yes, note to self, Sydney, please send me cat videos. I'll be very pleased, always very pleased to receive cat videos, or any animal videos for that matter. But when David Bowie died, I I really felt the loss. You know, I didn't know him, but his music meant a lot to me. And as an artist, I love his theatricality. And, you know, he seems to be... Hi, Ed, from a Sydney Canadian from London. Hey. That's right, you are a Sydney Canadian, Lisa. I almost forget that because you're such an Aussie, but, you know, you're definitely got that exotic Canadian part of you that's still very clear. But so this song about David Bowie, it's called A Man Who Fell to Earth. And those of you who might be Bowie fans know that he had a movie of that name. And it was a very quirky sci-fi movie. And I totally fell in love with his movies like that one and also Cat People, and as well as Merry Christmas, Mr. Lawrence, and a lot of the other movies he did. But I decided to marry my love of sci-fi and his love of sci-fi with a song that's a tribute to him. So I called it Man Who Fell to Earth, and then maybe it was partly as an excuse that I could do a music video that was sci-fi themed. And so I did just that. And so what it combines, this song and the actual music video combine my love of Japan, my love, because I lived there for a few years, my love of David Bowie and my love of sci-fi, which all kind of, for me, go in together. And so this has been the last video off the rank. So the album's been out since late November last year, and I've been doing videos as they go, but this one has taken the longest. It's the first song off the album, but it's the last video, and that means I've done a video for every song now, so that's exciting. But this video has been the hardest. I had to learn the software before I could do the editing, so that was a little bit tricky. And I should let you know too that I'm a fully independent artist, so I've been on a record label when I first started out. And, you know, there's some positives about that. You get a lot of support that you don't get as an indie, but I soon realised that I actually love doing things myself. I love having final say over the artwork and, you know, creating the themes for the artwork. And, I mean, I go as far as to create the artwork from scratch, and I really love Photoshop. And I love video editing too, because it feels like I'm creating a world from nothing. But in the case of this video that I'm about to play you, I'm creating a world from another world. So what I did is get a vintage sci-fi Japanese movie, well, two of them actually, and obviously they're out of copyright now, so they're public domain and you're allowed to cut them up. So I grabbed these two and I took the scenes that I loved out of it that I thought kind of fitted with the idea of the song that I wanted to portray. And this is why it took so long. And I cut up these two movies and created a new storyline. And I did a whole lot of green screen. And for those who aren't sure what green screen is, basically you put a big green screen up, you know, ideally in a studio, properly lit and everything, and you do whatever you want to do in front of it. And later on, when you're editing, the software picks up anything that's green and disappears it. And so you can add another layer behind you, and it's just you without any background. So that's the way I managed to insert myself into the actual sci-fi Japanese movie. Because I wanted to be a part of it. I wanted to be one of the aliens that saves the world. So, I don't know, it might be silly. It's kind of cute, I think. I had a lovely time making it. So I think in these times we could all do with as much distraction as we could get. So I figured it's a good time. Yeah, that's right, Sydney. It's my vision. I think... As far as, I mean, not every artist is the same, and that's the beauty of art, that everybody's different. But Lisa, who's here, is an amazing singer, but she's also a really beautiful artist, and she creates fabrics and all sorts of things. And I think that it's a bit like sports people, you know, they're not only necessarily good at or into one sport, they do a whole lot of stuff. And I figure that, you know, my artwork and my video is just an extension of my music and what I do. So now I've given it a big, a big roll up. I hope you like it. It's called The Man Who Fell to Earth.
12 billion light years away on the Cerulean planet, in the Black Star Galaxy, the Alien Federation holds an emergency meeting.
As you can see, the Earthlings are in trouble. They need help fighting their demons.
What can we do? We must go and show them that they already have the tools they need.
You sang to me in French and Italian. I held you to my chest and then I pinned you to the wall. You give to me your sweet science fiction. The needle drops again and then you open up the door. You broke me when you left me, even though we never met. I hope the man among the stars is treating you well. You're the man who fell to us, silently with a song. You're the man who fell to us, rock and roll with lipstick on. No one could wear glitter like you did. You lived on your emotions and you gave us so much more. You lit the world in serious moonlight, dancing underground and howling through the attic door. You broke me when you left me, even though we never met. I hope the man among the stars is treating you well. You're the man who fell to us, silently with a song. You're the man who fell to us, rock and roll with lipstick on. You're the man who fell to us. You're the man who fell to us, rock and roll with lipstick on.
So there you go. That's the man that fell to earth. I'm kind of playing the man who fell to earth. But I had a lot of fun making that, and it's got a bit of a message in it as well. So I hope that was clear. Music saves the world. I think it does every day, personally. Anyway, Sydney mentioned that there's an episode of Star Trek that has the half white, half black thing. I think it was a little bit of a sci-fi thing. Thanks, Carwin. I hope you're doing, the shoes, Sydney, I know, tell me about it. The shoes, actually, it was interesting because of the green screen thing, the software picks up anything that's the colour of the screen. And the problem was that outfit I was wearing and those shoes were all really shiny, so that it turned into a bit of a mirror. So when I was doing the actual chroma key, sometimes, little bits of me and little bits of my boots would be missing because the computer would think they were green. So that's a lesson learned. Don't wear really shiny stuff when you're doing green screen. I was thinking about sci-fi because I can't remember not being a fan of sci-fi, and I think I always link it back to memories of my dad. My mum would kind of roll her eyes when we would watch stuff, and Dad and I obviously had the same sense of humour, and I think it's a little bit the same with me and my boy. We seem to appreciate the same things, and we would just love Doctor Who and Star Trek, and the older the better. If it's the reruns, the black and white ones where you could see the strings of the robots, and the Daleks was obviously just someone talking into a shoebox or something. I loved that. But yeah, I think part of the reason I love sci-fi so much are those memories with my dad growing up. And my dad's not around anymore, unfortunately, but whenever I see an old Doctor Who or an old Star Trek episode on the telly, it reminds me of him and those lovely times that we had. And I think it's a bit of escapism, and I don't like the really big, bad, scary movies, and I think there's something really innocent and sweet about a lot of the retro sci-fi. Mind you, I still like modern sci-fi as well. I'm a sci-fi geek. That's it. I'm going to say goodbye now. I'll be back on Thursday at 7:30 p.m. for those who are awake, and have a lovely week. I'll see you soon. Hello, how are you going? I hope you've had a nice day. It's been a lovely sunny day in Sydney. Well, I think it has been, because I went to put out the rubbish and I went out into the backyard and put the washing out. So I've had a very exciting day, but you can feel spring is coming. It's on its way, and I don't think I've ever looked forward to spring as much as I have right now. I hope you've had a nice day, whatever kind of weather you're experiencing in your part of the world. Let me see. I've got an exciting weekend planned because I've got a gig. And in the old days that would be normal, but now it's abnormal in a good way. So I'm working at Dom's at Penrith Panthers, which is out at Penrith, obviously, because it's called Penrith Panthers, and it's a little cocktail bar that's part of a very big complex. And it's a really fun gig. I'm doing it with my girlfriend Jo Elms, who plays the guitar and sings, and of course I play the piano and sing. So we do a duo, and we're called Sing Little Sister. So if you happen to be around Penrith Way, we're there tomorrow night from 8:30 to 12:30, just after midnight, and I'm so enjoying it. I'm enjoying it partly because I'm not doing many gigs, and so I appreciate the ones that I do have, but also it's great. Why wouldn't I, love playing with one of my friends and making some music? It's really a fantastic pleasure. But I've got to say, I do appreciate gigs more than ever because they're few and far between. Anyway, it's lovely to see you here. And as well as my gig at Dom's on Friday night, there's some other exciting things coming up. I've got, it's not really a live stream because it's going to be pre-recorded, but I'm doing a little show on a show called Spotlight on Sydney. You can give it a Google, and it's a fairly recent creative venture, and it's part community radio and part YouTube site. So they've got a proper community radio license and broadcast all the time, but they do interviews with Sydney artists, obviously. It's called Spotlight on Sydney, so it's all about promoting and encouraging people to find out more about Sydney artists. And I'm the third cab off the rank as far as interviews go, and so I'll be doing an interview with the crew and doing a few songs as well, so original songs performed with not quite the full band because we still have to social distance in the stage space, but there'll be 3 of us, which is, no, actually there will be a couple of backing vocalists as well. So there'll actually be 5 of us, which is great. So I'm really looking forward to doing this Spotlight on Sydney show, and I'll be sure to post the video when it's done. So that's exciting. It's always wonderful to have things to look forward to, isn't it? And since we haven't got holidays at the moment to look forward to, I'm looking forward to work. But I do love my work, and because the gigs are few and far between, then, you know, why not? But there's one gig coming up that I wanted to tell you about, and I have mentioned it before. It's a cabaret show at a place called Claire's. Oh no, am I the voice of God again, Carwin? Goddess, can I be the voice of Goddess? Anyway, where was I? That's right, I'm doing a show, a cabaret show, that I started thinking about the idea of this show last year, and I had all these plans to do it in the Fringe Festival in Sydney, and, you know, then the world went haywire, and I still had this idea kind of percolating in my head, and I really wanted to do it. I decided to just do it in a little bit of a smaller way, I guess, because the gigs just aren't there the way that I had planned them to be. And I'm doing this gig called Gaga versus Me it's actually a French restaurant cabaret room in Darlinghurst, for those who know Sydney. And it's a gorgeous place, not only because the food is out of this world good. I mean, French food, right? It's pretty special at the best of times. The food here is outrageously good. And they have this like lovely decor, and everything about it's just beautiful. It's actually quite a famous drag queen, Claire de Lune, who owns and runs the restaurant. That's where the name Claire comes from. But the funny thing is, Claire's actually my middle name, and when I was growing up, and I don't know if you remember this, Irene, but if ever I did anything naughty, I would just blame Claire. So Claire was me, because Claire's my middle name, but it seemed if I, you know, put a label on someone else, then I kind of get away with more. And anyway, this whole idea for this cabaret show called Gaga versus Me was that Gaga is almost like an alter ego, like Claire was when I was growing up. So it's like, we've all got one, right? The way we act when we're talking to, say, a policeman, compared to the way we're with our friends on a Saturday night, in the old days anyway, is going to be quite different. I think we all differently depending on what circumstance we're in. And that's the theme behind this show. So it's my alter ego is Lady Gaga. So it's this character that I can be a bit more outrageous than my normal home self. And I can wear flamboyant clothes and makeup and be a bit crazy and zany, just like, you know, that typical picture of Lady Gaga in the meat dress. Although, of course, I'm a vegetarian, so I'd have like Brussels sprouts hanging off mine. But anyway, it's all about us all having these two personalities. So the idea for the show is I'm going to do a whole lot of my own material, but also a whole lot of Lady Gaga songs and, you know, talk about different stories. And I really wanted to think about some of the crazy things that I've done. And, you know, when you get older and you have children, and the crazy times seem to be fewer and far between. And so I thought, I'm going to ask my friends, the friends that I grew up with, you know, did I do any crazy stuff when we were growing up, when we were teenagers? Don't you reckon it's about the age of 15? It was for me that I went a bit crazy, that, you know, I started to discover stuff. And I'm not going to go into huge amounts of detail because I'm sure you know. And I think and I'm looking forward to that because my boy's 11. I'm like, yeah, I'm going to get payback, aren't I? But that was the age that I started to be quite naughty. I was pretty good up until then. I was one of those good girls. And then, I don't know, puberty, I suppose, hit, and I decided boys were a great idea, and sneaking out and all of that stuff. Anyway, it's not as if I ever did anything dreadful like steal a car, or not that it's that bad, there's much worse things, but I never did anything really that bad. And but you know, lots of cheeky things that we've all done. So I sent a little message to a few girlfriends that I grew up with that, you know, I'm still really good friends with, and I said, you know, remind me of some of the crazy things that hi Fred, lovely to see you. Some of the crazy things, yeah, sex, drugs and rock and roll, exactly, that I'd done, because I couldn't think of anything. And then it all came flooding back, of course, and we had such a fun time reliving our school years. And it probably was about the age of 15 and 16 that the craziness really started and, continued for quite a while. And so I recommend that everybody does that. Send a message, WhatsApp or whatever, because we have this little WhatsApp group with a few girlfriends that I grew up with, and we all went to Sri Lanka together. There's like just a girls' trip away a few years ago. So we're the Sri Lankan chicks in this little WhatsApp group. And when I sent that message, we were all belly laughing, in our own houses. And, one of my friends is in Darwin and we're all kind of spread out, but we were all reliving these funny things that we did at school. They started blaming me for a whole lot of stuff that wasn't me. I did some of them. But the thing with me is, I don't know if you agree, and maybe it's not the same anymore, but, when I was 15 or in my early 20s, I had a really innocent face. And I wasn't innocent, I just looked at, so I seemed to, once I realised I could get away with stuff because people wouldn't think it was me, then I started to do more stuff. But as I said, nothing that dreadful, but I'll tell you a couple of stories. And I'm finding a way to weave these stories into my cabaret show, because this is what I love about cabaret. It's all about the music, but the music has to tell a story. And I love it when artists have like a thread of a story going through the songs so that the songs mean something, and they might mean something different. It was clear. It was totally clear. The songs might mean something different in the context of the story that you tell. So one of the stories my friends reminded me of, we were all in art at school, I don't know, in year 11 or something like that, year 10, and we were learning all about Picasso, and I'm sure everybody knows who Picasso is. He's, famous for Cubism, and so we'd learnt that in the morning, and then we were doing work with some clay. And the teacher left the room for a little while, I suppose, and I don't know, I was being silly, and I made these cubes because we were talking about Picasso earlier. So I made these 2 cubes and I stuck them with, because it's wet, above the art room sink, just 2 big fat cubes. And I was giggling because I thought I was so hilarious. And I stuck my finger in some clay and wrote on the wall with the clay finger, Picasso's balls, because they were square, and so his balls were probably cubes. And I thought I was hilarious, and probably the other 16-year-olds with me thought we were all hilarious. Anyway, the teacher comes back in. I did that! And I feel terrible to this day. I never admitted to it. Nobody dogged on me. I'm sorry, Miss Gregory, it was me. Irene, I don't know if you were in the class that day, if we were in art class together, but it was me. I mean, seriously, it's not world-changing wickedness, but I did a lot of things like that. And then, I was talking about this thing on Facebook recently, and I said, I recommend that everybody should do this. Contact people that you grew up with and ask them funny stories when you were a bit naughty. And so then all the stories started coming out of the woodwork. And I was in an amateur theatre production, an amateur theatre society when I was, probably about that naughty age again, about 16, 17. And I don't know if you're the same. I mean, the whole thing with the Gaga versus me is there's Gaga who's a bit outrageous and crazy, but then there's me who can be quite shy and reserved and insecure, like all human beings, I suppose. Irene's saying I was an angel. Yes, secret angel. And so I joined this musical society, and I just automatically thought everyone was so much better than me, better singers, better dancers, better actors, better everything. And so, in situations like that, like everybody, I get really shy. And, I think it's all about that, isn't it? How much confidence you have. And as you get older, hopefully you gain more confidence. And I just care less what people think now. But this particular musical society, you know, I was quite intimidated by everyone, who were very, very nice, don't get me wrong. Hi, Andrew, it's lovely to see you. But I did feel intimidated, so I was always quite shy. And actually, this is a little bit of a name drop moment, but I mean, who wouldn't? Okay, I just got to show you this. This is a picture of me and someone in this music society. So that's me. See, look at that innocent face. With way too much makeup on, but you know, it was a stage show. You know who that is with me? Huh? That is Hugh Jackman, the Hollywood star. But of course he wasn't the Hollywood star then. But we did a show in this particular musical society that I'm talking about together. Anyway, so yes, I know it's a bit of a name drop, but you know, I also wanted to show you what I looked like when my face was actually innocent. But, so there was, this is what these people reminded me of just a couple of days ago, and I'd completely forgotten. The song that I sang, it was a Sondheim and Lloyd Webber musical that we were doing. And the song that I sang was called Come Back with the Same Look in Your Eyes. Gosh, I loved that song. I'm going to have to relearn that song. Yeah, Dan, did you recognise Hugh Jackman before I said? I bet you did. Well done. He looks, you know, quite different. He wasn't all muscly then. But so, and also it's in my blog, right? So everybody's probably seen the photo in my blog. Because if you had a photo of Hugh Jackman, you'd put it everywhere too, wouldn't you? Anyway, so come back with the same look in your eyes. And I'm this little, you know, delicate flower, shy person who wasn't very outgoing with these group of theatre people who all just seemed so much, you know, brighter and more exuberant, more talented than I did. So I was always kind of just the shy one in the corner. Anyway, one day we're at rehearsal and, you know, we're singing the song through, and apparently, I don't remember this exactly, but they reminded me, you know, a lot of people were kind of in the corner just talking, and it's my turn, so I'm singing the song, Come Back with the Same Look in Your Eyes. And I don't know what came over me, but I started to sing, Come Back with the Same Taste on Your Thighs. And, you know, it's not as if it's that outrageous, but when you were the shy little girl in the corner that, you know, never said boo, everybody suddenly went, did she just sing that? Hi, Sydney, you are late, but you're forgiven because I know it's like 5:30 in the morning or something crazy, so I appreciate you being here. Same with you, Larry. I know it's a stupid time to be awake, and I appreciate you spending that time with me. And so yes, I'm picking up all these funny little stories for my cabaret show. So while I'm here, just in case you're in Sydney and you might like to come, this is the show. So you can see that's half Gaga and half me there, just in case you're wondering why I've got a strange looking face. And Claire is the pop-up cabaret, petite cabaret. And just in case you can't read that if you're on a phone, with her new one-woman show, Amanda has taken some of Lady Gaga's hit songs, turned it into a cabaret show about her own life. Get ready to laugh and be moved by tales of bad romances and life adventures, set to a dramatic soundtrack. You'll also hear some of Amanda's original theatrical electronic pop tunes. Think James Bond style on a red velvet lounge, dark corner, cosy bar. Fully costumed and with an immersive video backdrop, this will be a mini monster ball. And that is the end of this sponsored announcement. But if you do want to come along. I'd love to see you there. And seriously, don't come for me. The food is outrageously good. So good. And it's just a really lovely vibe. And they're being super careful about the whole COVID thing, because I check these things really carefully. I don't want to play in a place that's not careful, and I don't want to invite anyone to come and see me in a place that's not careful. And these guys are going above and beyond. No one wants to close down their business, right? So you can see why a responsible business would be doing the right thing. So it's actually on a Tuesday night. So I mean, what else do we do on a Tuesday night? I mean, you know, except watch Netflix. So yes, come along. It's September 15th and you get like a 1,000,000-course meal and 2 sets of cabaret show. Because we were talking about aliens and I just released my alien-themed music video, Man Who Fell to Earth. We're talking about aliens. I saw this picture on the internets and I thought I'd share it. Dog noses look like angry aliens. They really do. Okay, you could say small things amuse small minds, but small things, you know, we all need as many things to make us laugh at the moment as possible. So, yeah, Fred, I'd love for you to come to my concert. A few weeks to get there by boat. You might make it. It's September 15. I don't know if they're letting anybody in at the moment, though. Okay, so I thought I might sing you a couple of tunes. One of the songs I'm going to do at the other gig I told you about, Spotlight on Sydney, where I'm doing my own music. I haven't played a lot of songs from my last EP out in public much because I only released it late last year and everything I'd planned for this year kind of fell in a heap. So it's quite weird that I've got all these songs that have been around now for quite a few months that I've never played, except when I recorded them. So I'm taking the opportunity when I do this Spotlight on Sydney to do some of these newer songs.
When the time closes in around us and day is stripped away, you say my name like something precious and take my breath away. It's not possession for us, it's belonging to us. No such thing as close enough. So much passion for us, it's belonging to us. Impenetrable. Truth will show when you stand so close out of line. Don't so close. I Our world is just this room in this moment, just where we wanna be. No one sees me quite as clearly in these spaces in between. It's not possession for us, it's belonging to us. No such thing as close enough. So much passion for us, it's belonging to us. Truth will show when you stand so close out of eye. Toe to toe, so close, eye to eye. Sometimes I hold on to hurt like a medal on my heart, but we can't take this for granted. Toe to toe, so close, eye to eye. Truth will show when you stand so close out of eye. Toe to tongue so close, eye to eye. Truth will show, toe to toe, so close, eye to eye.
That's a song from Polaroids and Postcards, which is my current mini album out. I've actually been writing new songs today in the last little while, so a full album, a new one, is around the corner, which means months away, but you know, these things take ages. Anyway, so that's one of my songs. So that's the me of the Gaga versus me, but now I'm going to do a Lady Gaga song. And the idea of the show, when I do the Gaga songs, I won't be playing the piano all the time. Some of them will be kind of more of a backing track, dancey kind of idea. Not that anyone's allowed to dance. You can dance on the inside. Okay. So this is a different version, but it's a song that you definitely know. Your disease, I want your everything as long as it's free. I want your love, 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 love. I want your love. I want your drama, the touch of your hand. I want your leather-studded kiss in the sand. I want your love. Love, 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 I want your love. I want your love and I want your revenge. You and me could write a bad romance. I want your love and all your lovers' revenge. You and me could write a bad romance. Oh, 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 oh. Caught in a bad romance. Oh, 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 oh. Caught in a bad romance. I want your love and I want your revenge. I want your love, I don't wanna be friends. Je veux ton amour et je veux te revendre. Je veux ton amour, I don't wanna be friends. I don't wanna be friends. I don't wanna be friends. I want your bad romance. I want your love and I want your revenge. You and me could write a bad romance. I want your love and all your lovers' revenge. You and me could write a bad romance. Oh, 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 caught in a bad romance. Oh, 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 caught in a bad romance. Ra, 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 Roma, Roma, ma, Gaga, ooh la la, want your bad romance. Well, thank you so much for having me tonight. It's so lovely to see you, and you guys really make my day just turning up and sending me comments. I just love it. So Thank you very much, and I'll see you next Tuesday at 11 o'clock, those of you who will be around. I'm kind of doing this regularly now, and it's something I look forward to, so feel free to pop in any time. If you miss them, they stay on the Facebook page, and they're also on my YouTube channel, which is youtube.com/Amanda Easton imaginatively. So feel free to drop by anywhere and say g'day. Have a great day or night, wherever you are. See ya!